Jake, do you remember that time back in the medieval days in that village? What was it?
Oh yeah, yeah. The one in East Ethiopia.
Yeah, and we were actually knights back then. That was crazy. Yeah. Well, you were the wizard, of course.
Oh yeah, I kind of played backup. I was more of a cleric.
Yeah, he played a little bit more of a support when we did this sort of thing back in the day.
But you were almost like an Ethiopian samurai.
Yeah, I had a sword and everything. I was going around with the sword, but actually, it's funny because the conflict that day was funny. Jake, right?
The conflict. Yeah. You want to tell him about it?
Yeah. So actually, we were in the village.
Yeah.
And we were going to buy breakfast, right?
Yeah, and so we were going to Josh's favorite tavern. What was it called in Ethiopian?
Oh, it translates to something along the lines of the Great Bagel or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, we were in there. We actually met the guy there. What was his name?
Like I think it translates roughly to just Jeremy.
Jeremy. Yeah. And he was what was it? He wanted the
Ethiopian squid.
Yeah. He wants to go catch the Ethiopian squid. It was actually pretty cool. It was gonna be just a nice fishing village or anything. So it's pretty easy. So we actually went down to the port.
Oh, and yeah, I remember the port. It had the 4 docks and old Bartholomew, which was I was all the way on the right. You remember him?
Yeah. He had the rightmost dock. If you're heading towards the port, that is. He actually suggested that we get a crew together of a couple more guys. So we actually went over to their local little guild area there.
Yeah, the Sailors Guild.
Yeah, and who was that guy the first guy we picked up?
Oh, Fishin' Freddy.
Fishin' Freddy, right? He was the fisherman of the group. He actually had a little bit of magic. What was it? His vein of magic was?
It was like aquamancy. He controlled the fish.
Yeah. So a little bit like the modern Aquaman, if you guys remember that guy.
Yeah.
And then there was a second guy we ran into there. We hired Fishin' Freddy, and then there was another guy.
Yeah. The wizard who specialized in finding people and lost items.
Right. The finding wizard. His name was I think it was Barry.
Yeah, Barry the finding wizard. That sounds right.
Barry the Finder. Yeah, Fishin' Freddy and Barry the Finder. And that was our little crew. We took Bartholomew because we don't know how to do the ships ourselves. But yeah, we actually started sailing. The sun was just coming up at this point. I mean, we got it pretty early.
When was this? This had to be the dawn of a few centuries ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah, medieval.
Yeah, medieval. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, anyways, we start sailing out, and we're doing a good time. Barry was actually casting a finding spell to find the squid, see if we could get it.
Yeah, and so he was able to locate the squid off a few miles off the Atlantic. Remember that?
Yeah. So we head over there, and while we're heading over, there's another ship pulled up. It's actually pretty cool. And
oh yeah, old Thompson. Yeah.
Thompson was on that side. Thompson was actually not a huge fan of us at the time because of that drama that happened to us.
Oh yeah, because of his father. Remember?
Yes, his father was mad disrespectful to us. He was not a fan of the way we adventured around. He thinks we should stick to a career. So, anyways, we meet up with him, and he's doing his local fishing thing. He's actually coming back from a night shift.
Yeah, what was he? He was after the Ethiopian Great White.
Right, and he warned us that there might be some pirates around the area.
Oh yeah, his old crew. What were they called again?
The pirate crew. They were the Roger Few, I think.
The Roger Few. Yeah.
Their flag. What was the insignia? It was
It was the painting of the person, the silhouette of the person with the skull bones across it.
Yeah. So anyway, the Rogers Few, and they were notorious back there. Actually, they came from the Caribbean. They accidentally landed there a couple years ago.
Yeah, they used to be called the Rogers Many before we got to them.
Hey. All right, but anyways, guys. So we go out there, and we actually don't expect to see them, right? Because we're thinking they're not going to be in the location of the squid, but lo and behold,
there they are. Yeah, and they never travel that far up the Atlantic. I don't know what they were doing there.
Yeah, so you can actually see though, it's actually cool. The glint of the gold of their teeth, right? So you see the glint of the gold on the horizon of their teeth, and that's kind of their calling card.
Yeah. It's almost like a reflection of the water.
Yes, but there's very subtle differences. So you gotta have a really steady eye up in the crow's nest where Jake.
Yeah, I was up in the crow's nest. They call me Steady Eye Jake back then.
Yeah, so Jake actually finds the guys. He sees them way off there. He's got his telescope. He's looking around. He warns us of it. So we gotta make a decision here. We gotta make this. It was either
to keep going for the squid and see if we can catch it, or fight off the pirates, or just go back to shore.
So obviously we're not going back to shore empty-handed because we already spent the time getting out here. We hired the crew. We needed some sort of money to pay them and make something. Make a little look. All right. It's not easy to be an adventurer most of the time.
Definitely.
So we kind of had to just risk it because they're in the general location of where we're going.
Yeah. So because if you look, you could obviously see this all on a map. We were like off a few miles off the shore of Ethiopia. If you look to the pirates were on our left. Down a few miles, you just off the horizon, you can see their white glint. The squid would have been somewhere in between.
Right. So they're sailing to us. We're sailing to them. So the squid is somewhere in the middle. It might be kind of muddy to see if we get it first. But we put up the peace flag up there, as they have in Ethiopia, to just make sure they know we're not hostile, and they should know. You would have thought they had known that we were coming from the direction of the port to go get stuff, that we didn't have any treasure, but it seemed like they didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because they were charging right at us.
But here's the thing. Instead of raising the peace flag, I accidentally rose I rose the peas flag. Like as in like
the
cargo,
vegetable.
cargo ship of the like because back in Ethiopia they don't have great soil. So, like trading vessels would raise the peas flag, meaning like we have your veggies. Of course, the pirates who wouldn't have been able to buy their own food on whatever scanty supplies they had would often raid these ships.
And you got to remember the scurvy they're probably carrying too, so they're probably wanting to get rid of that. So they see the peace flag, they think we have cargo. They're bum rushing at us, so we got to sail real careful. We put everything. We're trying to go silently until this point, so we're like sails up, going slow, and they just start booking it right at us. I mean, wind is right in their sails.
Literally.
So we got no choice. We're both like headed straight at each other, sort of like an arrow, like two arrows headed at each other. So we need to do something to even out the odds. So we're gonna try and loop around and get our cannons on their wide side.
Yeah. So old Bartholomew, we had him on the wheel. So I was shouting up from the crow's nest, off the port bow, and Josh was where were you at that time?
I was actually I was below deck. I was mapping out and like trying to find the right bait for this thing with the wizard. I'm down with Barry trying to figure out where this thing is and what the right bait is.
Josh, because you were so good at reeling other fish in, they used to call you Catfish Josh.
They actually did call me that because I was so good at catfishing from my days in the bayou, which that's a different.
Yeah, that's a different. That's way back.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you even remember that one. Dang. Wow.
We'll have to tell that one a different time, guys. But I was downstairs, so I hear all this yelling, and I go up, and I'm like, "What's the commotion about?" And then Fishin' Freddy, he's already up there because he, is getting the nets ready and everything. Yeah, he's fishing off the boat. He fills me in, and Fishin' Freddy actually has this crazy plan.
Oh yeah, so when he said he was gonna use his fishing line to grapple onto the enemy boat, and then we'd grind on the fishing wire and board their boat.
Like slide across it. Because you gotta remember, this is like heavy duty fishing wire for deep sea, so we could easily like tie rope ourselves across.
Ethiopia, there's not much small fry. There's not much small fry fish. Excuse me, small fry fish, especially like if you're going for profit. So the fishing wire was stereotypically like almost the size of like a rope you'd see in today.
So he comes up with this crazy plan, and honestly, it seems like the only way. Because like we have some cannonballs, right? But we're not like a fighting ship. We're just meant for
We're fishing.
Yeah, we thought we were going for a day trip. So we get this whole plan ready. We get all of us lined up and ready, and then we see them. Right, we're right close to it, and we start rolling around their port side. We just start cruising around there.
Absolutely,
we're trying to be very careful.
Port.
Now, Fred and Fishy has to pick where to land it and aim it exactly right.
What he ended up picking was he chose to actually go right from the crow's nest, and he actually threw his fishing wire and grappled onto the wheel of the enemy ship. Josh, you want to explain why that was a good choice?
So he did it on the wheel because now no longer can they steer away. Essentially, if he reels, they're immediately being pulled into us, okay? So they really can't get away from us either. Now, mind you, we're a crew of 5. They probably got 20 guys on there, okay? So this is no easy maneuver to do. He grapples it on, and he actually ties the fishing post, his reel, to the post that's by him. Cuts it, and he like zip lines across with his fishing pole. So we say, okay, I guess we gotta go.
Yeah. So what happened was, so obviously with my magic, like I was okay. Like I had a balancing spell I learned at that point. I was able to just run across the rope. So Josh at this point is able to so he literally, so remember he's just like a samurai. He has a sword. He literally like stands on the sword. He has got the sword on the rope. He literally like goes down like it's a skateboard. Like
that's hard, by the way, on a katana.
Yeah, and you've seen it's like early. That was like early Sonic Adventure 2 type stuff off the helicopter. That's actually where they got the inspiration. That's another story, but because we used to work on the early 3D Sonic games.
Right. Bartholomew can just run over. He's used to doing this type of thing. So Bartholomew just runs over. Fish and Freddy is over. I'm over. Jake actually has magic, so he actually uses a different way to get over there.
So yeah, because I balanced on the rope. Oh yeah, Barry. Well, he was the finder. He found his way on the ship.
That's true. He kind of just got there.
So he got there. So we're all on the ship at this point. We're all like at the wheel. And so what Josh decides to do is he cuts the wheel off the ship.
No more steering.
Yeah, so then they can't get away. So he puts the wheel, he literally shoves it like on the captain, like he traps him, and then you pull out your katana. And why don't you tell him what you did to the captain?
You guys gotta okay. I says to him, give up the ship, or I give you a flip. And that was my calling catchphrase back then that I used to say when I threatened him. But he was not gonna back down. He's got like 20 guys with pistols and blunderbusses.
Yeah. So luckily we had a few blunderbusses of our own, and so as the enemies were shooting their blunderbusses at us, I was able to block their blunderbuss bullets with my. So I had a spell equipped at this point that was. Like I had actually made it. It was specifically to block blunderbuss bullets, and so as they were shooting their blunderbuss bullets at us, I was able to block them with my blunderbuss shield.
Yeah. And Barry, huge help here. He's able to sort of wall hack them so we can see them outlined, right?
Yeah, early wall
we can see the pirate outline with his finding magic. So super useful for us to when we're behind cover, we can see them. So we're ducking behind cover. We're basically pinned down at this point up on the top level there at the wheel. So somebody's got to make a move. I backflip down with the sword, and then Jake comes in. He's floating a little bit because he's magic, but he gets down there too, and we got to start going crazy on these guys.
So yeah. So what I do is Josh and I have a tag team. I use my 1,000 katana attack. It's basically I rain I like pushing with the wind. Like 1,000 katanas, and what Josh does, he's an Ethiopian samurai master. He's able to wield each of the katanas as they come in. Like he's able to expertly dodge the katanas and use them to his advantage.
So I can actually fight within the storm of swords, and the other pirates basically stand no chance at this point.
So we suppress them easily, and so at this point now, say 20 minutes have passed, we've got him on the plank.
Yes, so we basically give them the choice. Look, you come back with us, we turn you in, or you're going off. And obviously, most of them are picking to just kind of come with us and go back in. We didn't end up getting the squid there because Barry's finding magic was brought in, but we're still able to come back with the boat.
Yeah, so we got the boat.
And that actually is why you'll hear the Ethiopians saying, went in for a squid, came back with a boat.
That's
actually cool. So
that's crazy because we actually inspired an entire saying.
Yeah, it's cool to think about being a part of culture like that.
And that was when we were still young at that point. Actually, we're pretty young especially for our character.
Oh yeah, and we'll tell you what happened next later, guys. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening.
Thanks for listening to, yeah.
Couple old stories
A
there.
couple old men rambling.